Hi. So this is a response to a video made by NeetCode.io. He's a YouTuber that has a website called NeetCode.io. He was basically complaining about how a lot of the statements he sees around people saying that LLMs have really helped them ship software faster are extremely overrated and a bit of an exaggeration. And what he did, he basically challenged people to build his own website, which is basically an app that you can use to, I think, get very good at NeetCode, that is built by scratch himself, to build this using LLMs and to see how far you can get. And then he showed what people had been able to do. There's an example by Devin, and he said that it didn't really sort of match expectations. So what we did, me and Vibor, we made a short video and saw how quickly we could get with GPT Engineer. And this is kind of a final product. So we have a simple landing page, we have UI for the courses, and we have a similar sort of page showing roadmap and sort of the tasks within a specific course. Now, this is all UI only, and I think that's an important distinction maybe to other attempts. This is mostly building front end, but I still think it's an interesting example of how quickly you can at least iterate in the front end with using LLMs and a tool like GPT Engineer. What will follow is the entire video, slightly cut, slightly edited, but I hope you enjoy it, and please let me know if you have any questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of the NeetCode homepage, and I'm going to paste that into GPT Engineer, and I'll tell it to create a replica of this site, and to use a placeholder for the graph. I'm going to be pretty relaxed on the typos. LLMs are normally quite good at sort of understanding what I mean. So let's see. And what you'll see very soon is that Engineer is going to just stream the changes it plans to make to an initial sort of blank repo of a React project to implement the first version of the page.
So this is the actual code that's editable later on, even if we are edited on GitHub.
Yeah.
If it works right. There you go. That's actually pretty close to what we had initially.
Yeah. So we have the placeholder image, which is a full screen. I'll just tell it to remove it for now.
Yeah.
Placeholder. And what else do you think we should do, Vibor?
I'm thinking that on his web page, if you go back to it, right, he was using a rocket icon in the header.
Yeah.
So let me share with you the source of that image. Maybe you can just prompt our GPT Engineer to, instead of NeetCode title here, uses that rocket.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. There you go. Pasting it for you.
Awesome. Got it.
You might want to use it. You got it?
So yeah, add a logo to the nav bar.
Oh, another thing that just came to my mind. I just noticed when you hover over his rocket image, it tilts for like 15 degrees, something like that. Can we try adding like a hover effect so it tilts?
Yeah. How much? 15 degrees?
15 degrees. I mean, I wasn't really measuring it.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's see if that would work. So again, it makes a lot of changes to the code. Oh, the dark mode.
Dark mode. I mean, here. Failed a bit on the sign in, but we can tell it to make it blue. I think as it is on the homepage. Edit.
Let's see. Okay, so it's edit. Oh, there you go. That's pretty cool.
Nice. So I'll tell it to remove the NeetCode name from the nav bar. And to make the sign in button blue.
Oh, yeah.
And I won't care too much about which tone of blue for now.
Yeah. Also, I mean, we don't need to go too much into details, but obviously it's super easy for us to tell it to use like a flame icon in front of the Pro button. And the Get Pro could be like a ghost button like they have it here. but those things are trivial to implement.
Yeah. So now we have a blue button, and you know what? Let's do the add a flame icon in front of Pro in the button.
Yes. I mean, if you are really going that far, why not add some flame?
Exactly. So let's see. And then I think after this, if this works, I think we might just go ahead and go to maybe implement the roadmap page. What do you
Maybe
think?
go with the roadmap. Roadmap is probably the most complex one. If you go to the original implementation of the roadmap, right? So it's a bunch of nodes and edges. And when you click on them, you see obviously courses that are related to it. It has some interactivity, so you can zoom in, zoom out, and there are connections between them. So
Yeah.
maybe we try doing that. Let's leave the sidebar out for now and just try and do this.
Okay.
So let's tell it like, add this to the roadmap and see what happens.
Okay, create a new page for the roadmap and add this and this and as content, see image. I'm going to tell it to pay, I'm actually going to tell it to use React Flow, which I know is a package that I assume has been used in NeetCode. I'm not sure.
I think he used something else. I think his website is more based on Angular, I think, but it doesn't really matter. We are trying to do something that is similar as possible.
Okay, let's see. I told it to be a bit also, and to focus on the nitty gritty of the connections. So here we see it's added the package to the dependency to the package JSON, which will make sure it's installed. And then now it's creating the connections using the React Flow library. I'm not too familiar with the library itself, but it seems like
no, it should be fine. It's super powerful. People are using it for all kinds of different flows and actions, stuff like that.
Okay, cool. And I think this glitch here is it's something that we need to fix.
You want to refresh it and try again? Yeah, let's go to roadmap.
So maybe the link hasn't been implemented. Okay.
Yeah, close-ish enough. maybe we change the background. Oh, maybe we can just change the background to something darker so it's more obvious. Yeah. And did it remove a header?
Yeah, I think it hasn't used the header. So I'm going to tell it make
tell
sure.
Tell it to reuse the header from the homepage all across the.
In all pages and make sure roadmap links to the roadmap page.
I like it how kind of funny. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to say that it's interesting that it did this sort of it just connected to itself. I'm curious why that happened.
What I wanted to say is that I really like how GPT Engineer is able to use NPM packages, right, and install them because it drastically extends, what you can do with it, provided that you use, a solid package, obviously.
Yeah, and that it just happens automatically, right? That you don't have to install it. I think that's pretty nice.
And now we can see how our errors look like, which is nice. Now we can also show how we are basically trying to debug these things.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just
paste it.
Just copy paste this error here. Yeah,
all right, let's see what happens.
Sonnet can fix it. So Sonnet 3.5 is notorious for how good it is at debugging.
Okay.
So let's see here. It's still getting an error. Oops. I'm not reading into the error myself. I'm just pressing the model a bit too much, maybe.
We can check. I mean, they're always playing around with it.
Has already been declared. Okay, interesting. Let's see. So I'm curious. Has already been declared. I'm going to go ahead and.
Do we want to revert to a previous version? Maybe that
makes
sense. We can also show that. So right, when this happens, sometimes you want to go a step back. In GPT Engineer, obviously, we can do that by just going to an action card and hitting revert.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be this change here we want to go to.
And then see what happens with that one.
So it seems like I am in here. Yes. So now let's try again to add the nav, make sure add the navbar to all pages. I'm curious to actually, while this runs, I'm going to go to GitHub, and I'm curious to see how this page was built in the first place. If it just, yeah, so it didn't add a component in the beginning, so that's why we're maybe struggling a bit now, because it has to actually like create a component.
And then reuse it all over the place, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think now it's using the right component.
We have two navbars now.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna like.
So here's a super neat thing that you just did, right? And this is something that we see with users as well. Sometimes explaining things can take a little bit more longer time. And an image or a screenshot is worth 1,000 words. So you can just paste the screenshot and tell it what you'd like to do. And in most cases, it will work just as expected. And even if it doesn't, it'll get you a step closer. Hopefully.
Yeah. Let's see if it understands what I want. I've told it to
like switch them, right?
To switch them, basically, yeah. To replace the navbar it's created now with the one it added to index. So it seems like we have a little runtime error here. Seems like an import has failed. I'm going to go ahead and paste it in.
While it's working on this, you said that Sonnet 3.5 is notoriously good for in helping in debugging. So that's actually the model that we are using in the background. So that's exactly what we are relying on.
And I think now it
might work, but it lost our rocket, and
so I'll tell it to replace it now.
Yeah. But the navbar part is now fixed, which is great. And the dark and light modes are also here.
As well. Okay.
While it's working on this, I was thinking maybe if you go to NeetCode and just zoom in and take a screenshot of one of those nodes and tell it that we would like it to appear like this, and that this thick white line, or to go to the one at the top, because it's actually I think it's like a progress bar.
Yeah.
If you go to arrays and hashing and select couple, now you will see your progress, and maybe just do that and tell it, we would like it to have this progress bar.
Cool.
And then it's back.
It's back.
We're ready to launch.
The nodes have a progress bar. See image.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't attach it. Whoops.
This is like one of those things. Please see my attachment in the email, and then you send an email, and then the clients might typically warn you. So we might.
I mean, you have an undo. I have an undo button, but I'm not gonna. I'm curious to see what it interprets with the message. Worst case, we can revert and include the images.
Maybe it just knows what we want.
Yeah. It's funny how it added this. This is probably like a default of React Flow, right? The full overview. Maybe we can delete that as well.
Yeah, you can actually. I checked the docs for this component when you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. It added it actually was pretty good in adding the progress bar without seeing it.
We want the progress bar. There's a weird background to the boxes, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, but we don't need it, right? Can we ask you just to get rid of this rectangular thing to the background? Yeah, you were mentioning this little thing. It's called, I think, like a map, and there are the other things called controls. I just checked the React Flow documentation, and you can turn those on and off, and depending on what you want to do.
Cool. I'll do that. And now let's see if this works. And I guess what do you want to do next? So what we can do next, assuming this will work, and we have blue.
Maybe change the maybe change the connections. They were thicker and white, and they had the arrowhead.
Yeah.
And also the exact thing that you're doing right now. Maybe we could tell it to be a little bit more vertically spaced out.
Yeah.
And this caught me for a second because this sidebar is now obviously outside of the bounds.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, right? I think it removed the. I'm pretty sure it removed the
wrong one. The
wrong one. Yeah.
Kept. Yeah. Do you want to tell it to retry that thing?
Yeah. Maybe I'm going to paste an image here.
What I like about this implementation here, it actually picked up the connections from the image, right, and kept this entire topology. There might be some minor issues, but we can always tell it to add, I don't know, connections between, or remove connections between sliding window and trees or something like that. And those things should work. I think that would be super simple.
I'm going to try something, Vibor. I'm going to try actually to, I wanted to try again the whole thing, because sometimes so I'm going to tell it to remove the React Flow canvas from the roadmap page. And I want to try to do it again. I think sometimes that could be helpful. Let's see if it works. I'm going to take a fresh screenshot as well.
Maybe like zooming it in so it gets more details picked out? Is that what
you're
attempting to do?
I'm maximizing the zoom component here.
All right.
Let's see. It's like the problem with LLMs and memory, sometimes they get caught up with, so I think this is like, it's removed the React Flow component, but it's kept information and put divs. I'm going to tell it to re-implement.
You know what I would do? Just an idea. I would remove the entire roadmap page and then I'd ask it to do it all over again. But you can try this and see if it's going to work.
Yeah, I'll try this.
Roadmap, not dashboard.
Yeah. Roadmap page using this image to make it an exact replica of this image. Sometimes telling it to not sort of be constrained by the mistakes it's made is often helpful. But maybe not. We'll see.
We'll see.
Look, it's interesting. It's created components for the roadmap. We'll see. I still think it's stuck. So maybe you were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what I mean. To me, it seems like it's mixing it and matching it because these initial nodes, initial edges, those are the things from the React Flow, and the parts in the beginning they looked like something else. But it wouldn't be the first time that I would be surprised by the output of an LLM. So let's refresh it and see how it looks. Okay, that's not bad.
I think it looks better. It has a bit of a different progress bar, but it doesn't look too bad.
Give me 1 sec. I will check their docs because these dash line. I'm assuming there might be an option where we could use like different markers. Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
In the meantime, do you maybe want to explain? I was thinking like. Yeah. You go ahead. You can go and implement the sidebar, and I'll check this. Yeah.
On the roadmap page.
Connections.
Cool. So marker type arrow closed for the arrows.
Yeah. I just pasted it for you, so you can reuse it.
Yeah, awesome. I'll try that. So how many minutes have we used so far, Vibor? I'm curious. 15 minutes?
Oh, let me check. I think something around that.
Okay. So not bad. I mean, we have a sidebar.
It's actually 20 minutes. We are 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that we were also doing some discussions around it. So yeah.
I maybe should have just stolen the color, I realized, but I'll just do this for now.
Yeah.
And it has all the buttons in the bottom as well.
Yeah, the buttons are here. it doesn't look like it's a sidebar because it's blended in with the background color, but maybe if it just uses the same color as it's on the, there you go. I think they're just fine.
That looks good.
That looks good. Try moving those nodes. I think that thing should also work, right? If you click and grab on one.
No, not for now.
No, not for now. Okay.
No, but the zoom works.
All right, that's fine.
Okay. So we said use this, use
marker
this
type arrow close, yeah, as a type.
to add arrowheads to the connections.
Yep. Yeah, maybe try that.
Okay, let's see. And then after this, do you want to jump in and maybe do this courses? Should we attempt courses or just keep it?
I was thinking if you go and click on arrays and hashing. Yeah, I was thinking about implementing this. This would be kind of cool, right? So if we click on a node, there is this like a slider that occupies, what is it, like 80% of the window, and try to implement something like this.
Yeah, should I only take a screenshot of a slider or of the whole thing?
Maybe just grab a slider and then explain to it that we wanted to slide in from right and occupy like 80% of the screen. It can be dismissed by an X button or escape or something like that.
Let's do that. Oh, that was a big edit. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see what's going to be working. There you go. We got the Bezier lines.
Nice. Awesome. Let's keep the animation. I like animation. It feels like there's not going between them. Okay, cool. I will then, let's do the following.
Yeah.
Let's...
so when you click on the interaction is when someone clicks on the node, right? That's what happens. So let's say on arrays and the hashing or whatever.
And what would you call this?
Like a slider, like a slider from the right-hand side. Slider panel, that sounds good.
A panel to slide from the right.
Occupy about 80%, maybe.
80% of the screen and to contain the information in the image.
Yeah. So if this goes through, this is, I would say, a huge time saver because it helps with a couple of things, right? It will literally pick up everything that's been written there. And it's all should hopefully organize it in a table as it was there. So then making edits on top of that should be much faster and easier than just writing this from the scratch, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's cool that it's creating a new component for the sliding panel. That's really nice. It's hard coding. Obviously, like what you'll see is that it's when you use GPT Engineer, it will for now mostly hard code things in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then often, like if you want to add more dynamic data, then that's much easier once you have all the sort of scaffolding in place. But the default mode of GPT Engineer is to just like hard code knowledge within a component.
Which is fine, right? If you want to do really rapid prototyping and build something like this, it's fine. But as you said, these models and constants there, they could be easily replaced with some stuff that you'll have in your database, like Supabase or whatever it is that you are choosing.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So
let's see how this works. The moment of truth.
So I don't know if it's
there you go.
That works.
It actually picked up the easy, medium, and stuff. You know what's missing, and I think we could add it. Sorting. So if you click on difficulty,
can I see how it's done?
Yeah. Click here. I just checked it. If you go here,
you see? Sorting by
Yeah, and sorting also by the name, by the problem name. Can we just
let's add that
and see if it can sort by those two?
Make sure users can sort by problem
and difficulty level.
I think what we can do next, assuming this works, is make the dynamic.
Like when you select it, it has the background and the progress bar updates.
Yeah, I think that could be fun. A fun addition.
Just out of curiosity, while waiting for this, can you hit this light mode button just to see what's going to change if we go to... There you go.
It worked. It's not the most beautiful.
But it's functional. And
it's functional.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell it to fix it, actually, by adding a picture. This this is how it looks now. Make sure chevrons is side by side with header.
Yep.
You were going to say something.
Yeah, I was thinking if you hit the light mode now, let's check that if it's going to. Oh, okay. It would need some more prompting to make sure that it implements it for the background for the entire thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You can add that to the to-do list.
It's a minor thing though.
Cool. And now when assuming this works, we want to make sure that this should impact the progress within.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what happened here?
It fixed it, but it removed the content, didn't it?
No way.
No.
Okay, what do you think? We can revert, maybe?
We can revert, or we can post an screenshot again and say, we need this table and the content in it.
Make sure the chevron to sort is side by side with the column name. Yeah, but going back to the question, we were saying we want, when this is selected, this progress bar should be increased.
Dynamically
and then
updated, exactly. Yeah.
Also this one here.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think currently though that, whatever node, whichever node you click, it will probably show the same. Yeah, because we didn't give it the content for anything else. But that's fine. That's fine. Let's just try it. Okay.
I wonder how that's going to work, because now the information seems to be hard-coded inside the component.
Mm-hmm.
And to implement this, it will need to sort of abstract away. It will need to create some sort of, centralized, like the data has to be available by both the side menu and the node.
That's true. But you see why this also is, why it's good here to reflect, for example, on the thing that you're mentioning. Currently, the data is hard-coded, right? And down the road, we will be having it, you can have it in the database, right? In that case, the context will obviously depend on, which node you selected and what gets pulled in from your Supabase, right? But this still provides you with a lot of flexibility in trying and testing. And the chevrons work fine. Slightly differently implemented than...
Slightly different. Yeah. But good enough.
Good enough for this.
Should we try the progress?
Try the progress, right? So when user selects a checkbox, make that row green and update the progress bar on the panel.
In the side panel, you should update the progress bar in the panel, but also the progress bar of the respective node.
Okay, that's going to be a big one. I think this is pushing it slightly a little bit over the bar, but let's see.
Let's try. Let's be ambitious.
Yeah, YOLO with LLMs.
Yeah, we need to trust on it.
Trust on it.
Yes, as I said, I'm curious to how it, because this is a pretty complex multi-file edit.
Yeah.
I would say, where you sort of need to think a little bit about the architecture. So I'm actually very curious to how it solves this, if it actually does solve it.
But you know what this also shows? That even for people who might be semi-technical founders, co-founders, or someone who is just trying, to get their feet wet and experiment with it, they can go very far without literally writing a line of code, just maybe consulting a documentation here and there and, pasting screenshots, which I think is pretty cool. And we are just hitting like a 30-minute mark, and we already replicated a bunch of this, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. I don't see how this, I'm very, very curious.
I would guess that it's going to pass it like an argument or something like that. It has this position, or this is for the initial nodes.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, we can now guess and hope, but let's just give it a time.
It's streaming too fast for me to understand what is going on, but we can look at the diff afterwards.
That's one nice thing I would like to show. So, because all this code is actually being committed to Git repository, you can always see those Gits, and you can always see the code changes for each of these edits, which is very nice if you have a developer buddy who wants to work with you on this on their own. It's totally supported.
So Vibor, I think we hit a limit. I think we hit a limit.
We need more tokens. More tokens, please.
Yeah, more tokens. So I think we're just gonna tell it to
revert and then maybe do it like a
yeah, I don't think
smaller
I can
change.
revert then. I hope this works. I hope we're not stuck now in the panel. Yeah, so
Well, there's one way to find out, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's good. We're not stuck. But we will just make sure, like we don't have a workaround. So right now, a limitation of the product is that it's sort of bounded by the limit of a single of the output limit, basically, of tokens of.
It's like 8K, right? Is it?
It's like 8K now.
Yeah.
There are ways of kind of building a workaround, and I think we might do that soon to be able to make this sort of more like monster refactor changes.
But here's the thing: he's rebuilding this entire table, right? And that takes a lot of HTML tokens. You have TRs, TDs, TH, and all of those elements, which takes some.
Well, it seems like this.
It's working. The color is not great, so it seems like the light gray part is decreasing. Maybe we change it to a green or something like that. What do they use? They have. It's green. Yeah. Let's use green.
Awesome. It should be a smaller change. All right. And what do you think we should focus on next, Igor? Assuming this works.
Assuming this works, maybe we go with some of the other pages that are on the page, like courses, or what was it there? Give me one second. Maybe we could just go and implement like a courses page. It has this courses and lessons thing.
Yeah. So it hasn't
updated our progress bar color.
I still see blue in the progress bar inside panel. Make sure it's green. It seems to me like this is in the sliding panel. It's interesting. It seems to me, I think this guy
is confusing it, right?
It's indicator. Yeah, I think there's a.
It's the same class name, background grade 700, so that might be overriding it or having some CSS scoping issues. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, now it's going ahead and doing a bit of a bigger update. We'll see if that helps it.
While it's working on that, can you open the NeetCode?
Yeah.
And just go to courses? Maybe we do this?
Yeah,
this
easy.
Seems like something super easy for us.
Just for me to understand, there is, okay, we can do both pages.
Yeah, we can do both pages and explain that this is like a switcher button.
Yeah. Let's do that. Awesome. Let's see.
I mean, the functionality is there, just the colors are a little bit.
Yeah.
It's still the same.
Let's just leave it for now.
Let's do it for now. We can always make those fixes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I would go with the courses page now, right? Yeah. So what we would need to use the same header component, right? The thing that it had on homepage and others, and then the rest of it as it was, and keep the header from homepage and others. So what's going to happen here, and this is always a tricky thing to say because you're assuming that you know it's going to happen. We don't have like an image generation, right? So it should probably use placeholder images for these algorithm and data structure for beginners, and then those could be replaced down the road.
Yeah, because I guess, are these, what are these? These are
like a separate course pages where you have like a video and then you have more content on it.
Okay.
And lessons, for example, if you go to this Python cheat sheet, I think I checked that it has like a YouTube video and then some,
We can implement
we can implement this. We can do that actually.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm thinking maybe we could even tell it to, all right, so this is relatively close enough.
Relatively close. Not exactly.
Yeah, because we want it to be listed one below others, and
Yeah, I wonder if
can we prompt it to do that? Say
yes.
like, how do we go about this? Tell it to use these cards on the on the right half of the screen, and then use the titles like data structures on the left hand side.
Do you think I should use an image or just prompt it?
I would use an image and prompt it just to tell it like, make sure.
But I mean, regardless of us having followed the exact layout, it's still not a bad.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, it added a switcher. Is it a switcher, right? Can you click on the lessons? I'm just curious to see what happens.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think it switches. We can tell it to do that.
We'll do it.
This feels more like buttons. What's the right
Definitely
terminology for this here? Tabs, right?
It's like a tabs, yeah.
Yeah.
They call them vals, tabs. There's a bunch of different things. But what's cool is even if you would use a layman term like a switcher or a toggle or something like that, it should understand it, right? So that goes along the lines that anyone should be working with this. Okay, this is better.
This is much better. It's a bit larger and more spacey, but I think I like it. Should we focus on make the buttons on top identical to this? Yeah. I'll just say buttons, and maybe it will figure out whether. I'm just curious, like, if we actually look at this, are these? It's a list, so they're not even buttons. Cool. And then next, should we maybe implement the lessons page?
We can go with the lessons like that Python cheat sheet lesson, and I think there was like some code sample there. I'm going to try and grab this YouTube video link. And one thing that's, give me 1 second. One thing that I was seeing, okay, courses and lessons. No, that's our page, right? I was distracted for a second. This is, yeah. Okay. That's nice because it added them properly.
Yeah, with the content of the image. And then I'm going to just tell it, make sure that lessons button is active and courses is not, and vice versa.
So it's like a toggle, right? When you switch one, the other turns off.
Exactly.
I would go ahead and do one lesson like this Python for coding interview. If you go to, can you go to the NeetCode, to the actual website? And the Python cheat sheet, maybe do this.
Yeah.
Like grab this video. I will post you a link to it. And then this entire code snippet there, maybe there is an NPM package that can syntax code it, color code the syntax so it looks similar to this.
Yeah.
Courses, lessons, nice.
But I think it's interesting. I would expect the colors to be opposite.
Me too.
But let's just do it for now. Seems fine. Let's add a lesson
for the Python cheat sheet, right? So it's when you click on this, it opens a page, and that page looks like that. And then let me paste you a YouTube video.
Up.
It is.
Once we've done that, the practice one. I mean, I'm keen to. This is more complex, but it would be fun to see how much you can sort of.
You know what? Let's do it as a stretch goal, right? Let's see how it works with this simple lesson, and then just throw an image at it and see what it does.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems like we have a runtime error here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it. Does the file exist? Always be polite to the model.
Because one day they will be reading all these messages when they get awareness, and they will remember.
Exactly.
They might forgive typos, but they might not be so forgiving if you're not polite.
Yeah. So Python, import Python. So it seems like Python cheat sheet page was not, it couldn't import it. Yeah, oh, I went way too high. I don't know what I was reading.
There, that's the one, right? You see it says, that's the page.
Yeah.
Section class and, those things. YouTube video up there.
Yeah, I don't think it's fixed the error, though.
No, it did not.
Let me see. Let's try again.
So again, getting back to the topic of human-computer co-creation or collaboration, this is something that you would be doing still regardless of the LLM, debugging, trying to figure out what's happening. Now with the LLM, you can actually get an upper hand and possibly debug a little bit faster.
Absolutely. I think like that might have done the trick.
Let's see, Python sheet. There you go, and it implemented the video. Now let's go crazy. Let's tell it to use a proper, like an npm package that would color code the code sample there.
Yeah,
You think
let's
we
do
could
that.
do that?
Add syntax highlighting in the Python cheat sheet code samples.
Okay, if it figures this out without you fixing any typos, I'll be impressed.
It's crazy, right? What this is doing to us, our grammar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's becoming lazier and lazier.
Mm-hmm.
Rips. So
Prism React renderer.
This is.
What's this Prism thing? What's that?
It's a package.
Okay.
Maybe I forgot to install it actually. Okay. So we're still seeing the error. It's not a runtime error. What could be is that it doesn't have the theme. But the theme should be there. I'm just curious to see what the code looks like at this point. So it's
marked as a code block, right?
Yeah. And did it actually install it though? What was the package called?
Prism, React Prism.
Yeah, it has installed.
It's called Prism React Renderer.
Yeah, it's installed. I mean, we can use a different code highlighter, please.
That Prism thing got me thrown off for a second because there was this ORM stuff with Prism, and this was like,
yeah,
it has nothing to do with it. Why would you use that?
Yeah, now I think it hasn't edited the code. Yeah, I don't think it has done anything. So I'm gonna tell it to clean the code. So
you know what? At all the things, I was sure that this one is going to be almost trivial, and it turns out to be the one that we are struggling probably the most, more than we did with the entire roadmap implementation, which is weird.
Yeah. Let's just remove this line from the cheat sheet page. If this fails, something we can do is revert to before adding the syntax highlighter and adding some other package from clean slate. I think
the other thing that's recommended, right? So we can completely ignore this past of history that it happened and just go back.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Right. Awesome. So now we have highlighting. That took a bit of work.
But it's there.
But it's there. So right now we have the home page. I'm going to tell actually the rocket should link to home root page. And because if not, I have to sort of select it here.
Oh, it's not already linked.
No, it's not.
Okay.
We could try. Do you want to try to add?
Yes, I wanted to suggest that maybe here on the homepage, instead of this graph placeholder, we tell it use that thing from the roadmap, position it on the right, and just scale it down a little bit. Use the same. Okay. I mean, it's stretching it now, right? But that's what this guy has in his webpage, so why not?
The graph placeholder and should I use a screenshot? You think?
Yeah, tell it like it's. But tell it to use our implementation, right?
Yes.
That's something that we have in our roadmap.
So use the graph, the same graph.
From our roadmap?
Roadmap page and display a smaller version side by side to the right of the
title text, right?
Hero text.
Hero text on the home page.
Index page.
And remove the graph placeholder, right?
Use image for inspiration. And
do you want to tell it to remove the graph placeholder currently that it has?
Yeah, I'll do that as well. Cool.
Let's see this.
I mean, and then it has some cool animation as well.
Yeah, it does. Are you tempted?
I'm not tempted. I'm going to abstain, I think. And I'm very curious to what it does here.
My guess would be just to. Okay, it was faster than we did. My guess would be just to reuse the component, which essentially it did, but it's not properly sized, I think.
I wonder if this has changed. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Do you think it's the size? Make.
Yeah, I would say make it fit the size. The nodes are too huge.
The graph nodes are too big, and overlap. Make them small so that they are distinguishable. The graph nodes are too big. The graph nodes in home and index. I don't think it's using the exact same.
Because the
node.
values are not the same, right? Oh, there you go.
I think it's.
No.
I think
Oh,
no, but
not.
it's you
No,
see,
no. It's
it's
just
a smaller version. But I can
yeah.
tell it. Make sure.
Make sure you use all nodes and all connections.
100% sure. All nodes you have in
Roadmap file. Yeah.
implementation. The exact same list of nodes and connections. Yeah. No. It's gonna be tiny though. How does he?
I mean,
Is this the same?
it's not the same.
Version?
It's not the same. It's a simpler version as well, right?
Oh, but then we had it then.
Yeah.
We had it then. I didn't know. I thought it was the same. I think it's going to be way too cluttered now.
It's a smaller version, but let's see.
Stop it. I'll stop it. I stopped it.
Okay, now that was a chance to demonstrate that we have this stop button functionality as well.
Yeah, I think this is good enough, to be honest. So I'll remove the controls from the graph.
For zoom in, zoom out, right?
Index, yeah.
Last thing I was thinking, do we go crazy and try and implement the practice? Just throw the screenshot at him.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see the first version at least.
And let's see the first version, how it looks.
Yeah, let's do that. So this is the practice page. Is there any functionality you want to mention?
These are the tabs, right? Core, skills, blind, NeetCode. Those are the tabs, and then the content below it, it's basically rendered in different pages. These, I am assuming, are the filters.
Yeah. Maybe we just do a first pass, and then we can add.
Let's just do it and see what it throws at us. I mean, sometimes those results look surprisingly well. Sometimes they're like, okay, this might need some more work.
Yeah.
Maybe just mention to it, if you didn't send it yet, to use the header that we have on other pages for consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of UI actually.
That's a lot of UI, and I don't know the number of tokens needed for this and how that is going to work, but super curious to see how it ends up.
Yeah. Maybe I'm also like interested in
do the pro page. Pro page is relatively simple, right? Just to sign up.
Yeah, pro page should be easy. I'm curious if we can get like the docs actually work. So that's interesting. That happens quite a few times. I'm just going to say, make sure you implemented
practice.
I'm curious to why that happens. Like, it's definitely made it.
Just a quick info for you. We are now at 58 minutes. So we have like 3 minutes until the full hour.
Okay, awesome.
But yeah, it's definitely implementing it. You can see it in the code. It's even using emojis that it recognized in the image. from the image that you posted.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure why. So let me just do another.
Check the code.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not here. Can you? Oh, this is the wrong commit. Can you refresh it?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Check now. Pages.
Oh, it's not here, right?
It's not here.
That's fascinating. That's really funny. That's why it's failing.
It created the entire content, right? Literally emojis and tabs and everything, but the page itself is not created.
I think the rest is there, I would expect. So if I go to, like, for example, here, it's...
That's the nav items. That's the header, I think.
Yeah, but practice, that's what we're implementing, right?
Yeah,
it's already
it. It's referring to it, but it didn't build that file.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Let's make a note of that, and maybe we can check. Because now I'm super curious to see how it actually looks, because it already, did so much work, and I just want to see how it looks.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a lot of code, so I don't know if it's implemented
everything,
but we'll see.
At least we have a practice. Oh, that's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
I mean, there are obvious usability issues with, white text and white background.
Yeah, let's see what...
And these should be like tabs. Maybe we should tell it that those are like the tabs.
These guys?
No. These algorithms, data structures. No, sorry. Core skills, blind, NeetCode. Those are the tabs. Right? If you click on them, I think it filters the... Yeah.
The image. Make sure text is black when not hover.
By the way, can you go to the original page? I'm interested to see, because we have these trophies here, and are there trophies on his page? Oh, there are rockets, and we interpreted them as... No, go down. Why did we add trophies?
I think maybe the model was not good enough at distinguishing those two.
Maybe it figured that those are trophies and not just the rocket things, right?
Yeah. Okay, we got the tabs now.
We got the tabs. They're not filtering anything, but we didn't even tell it to, so that's fine.
Should we tell it to fix these guys?
Yeah, to make them more usable, because currently they're failing every imaginable usability test.
Make the...
algorithms and... they're even called. Give me one sec. Algorithms, data structure, buttons like the ones implemented. I mean, he got close with emojis. I'm just comparing them. So for the machine learning, there is a robot. For data structure, it's a tree, and it's not that bad.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes...
Okay, that's not bad. It's improved.
Make the controls section with the search
and filtering stuff. Yeah, more like this.
Like, I feel like sometimes when you can sort of overload it with too much information, and then like the level of detail it will pay, just kind of, it will sort of like not be that.
That's true, and I wouldn't be too surprised that it maybe internally even tries to reduce the number of tokens that's going to use to interpreting an image. And if because now it's super detailed, right? If you tell it like grab this and do it, and this looks really, really good.
Yeah, cool. I think it's good enough. What is there anything, do you want to try to like do an attempt on the
maybe pro page, or just improve the dark mode, light mode all across the board? Give it like super vague instruction to improve the readability when switched to light mode on all pages. It's probably going to cause a lot of troubles, but
I have low hopes for that one. But readability,
when the light mode is selected, make sure the contrast is properly managed, something like that. Yeah.
That was a bit too vague, maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
I haven't had good experiences with this, because I feel like it's not, sometimes it struggles to understand exactly.
What like a good contrast would be, even, or right?
Yeah, or like it sometimes struggles with like CSS and knowing what exactly is activated in a specific mode.
Okay.
But hey, let's try.
I mean, this is a stretch thing that we are doing. It's like we are already in 1 hour and 5-6 minutes, and we just wanted to see. But I would say that within this time period, and with a lot of going back and forth and exploring, I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this would have taken me much more, and I'm not trying to say I'm an expert coder in any sense. I don't code, or haven't coded for a while. But if I were to do this alone, yet side by side with Sonnet or ChatGPT, copy pasting, it would have taken me much longer. Okay. So not entirely sure.
No, maybe you just understood it for the.
Yeah,
I think you just understood it for maybe just the current page or something. Yeah. Here it's fine. I mean, it does it decently.
Yeah.
The one thing that we are taking for granted here when using GPT Engineer is that it already builds all these things for you, right? As you said, you mentioned earlier, for Sonnet, or if you were to use ChatGPT, you would have to go back and forth between your IDE, doing npm runs, installs, and stuff like that, checking it in browser, and here you all have it here. Literally, just don't even think about it. It's just there, and when an issue happens, you copy paste that issue back to the chat, and it tries to resolve it for you, which is a really nice workflow.
Yeah, agree. Especially if you're not comfortable in the terminal.
Yeah.
IDE space. This is much more like the friction to get started and build out your ideas is like almost non-existent.
Exactly.
You don't have to run things locally, install things in your computer.
And at the same time, actually, you do have this code that's committed to your Git repo. So if you are an engineer, or you have an engineering buddy who wants to dive deeper into this, they can do this and do whatever they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my learnings from this session is also like GPT Engineer excels with smaller edits. Telling it to do multiple pages across the entire app it's going to struggle a bit more, and also likely you're going to run onto a token limit. So it's better to be patient and basically work as if you were working with a developer side by side, doing like a code. What's it called? Code pairing.
Pair coding. Yeah, pair development, how it's called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even in that case, you wouldn't say, make the changes to all these pages at the same time.
Yeah,
stuff like that. I mean, you would lose your place in that seat very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see. I think it failed. The diff failed, so it's going to retry again. And let's see if this works. So I think
now it's old light mode.
Yeah, I think it didn't understand it. It sort of has implemented.
Yeah. Okay, maybe just revert, because this looks worse than it was before.
Yes. Yeah, I will do that.
All right. Awesome. Is there anything else you would like to add to this, or we can pretty much conclude the session for now?
I think we can conclude it. I think this was a lot of fun. It was, it was a lot of fun. I think we got a lot of UI built, and we got something pretty similar to the actual NeetCode site. So I'm pretty happy actually for how quickly we could get to a similar situation. Yeah. So
that's true.
I'm very happy about that.
I mean, as you said earlier, obviously, integrating this with the backend, like a Supabase, or making the more functionality would take more time. But we time boxed ourselves for an hour or so, and within that hour, I think we did a great job. Christian, thanks for joining me for this. This was a lot of fun. I hope we repeat this and do this for some other projects. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. See ya.
Bye-bye. Ciao.